Welcome to the Target Discovery Series, where we discuss accessibility and ergonomics from a new perspective. Today we're going to talk about everybody's favorite topic, wearable technology. And before we get into a partner vendor demonstrating one of these new technologies that could really benefit individuals with disabilities, I just kind of wanted to give you a lay of the land on wearable technology. At first, of course, we thought of things like Google Glass. Then we had Fitbits for just tracking your activity and giving you occasional reminders. And we actually have content on our YouTube page about these topics. But really things started to get going, when it came to the Apple Watch. And while some people might say the Apple Watch is not all that it's cracked up to be, it does have some notification features and accessibility features that are now on your wrist that were never before. So I think we can say safely that it was one of the first truly accessible wearable technologies. So that now you get to the point where, and I have mine right here, I have my watch, I can have it talk to me.
It's 12:02. Good afternoon.
So I can get the time read out loud to me. I can see it in large print, or it can be Mickey Mouse in his hand, whatever works for me. And I can get notifications of email, and not have to get my phone out all the time and interact with that. So a lot of us would say that doesn't really seem to be necessary, but for other people, it's actually a very powerful tool. So the Apple Watch kind of took us down that road. And then we've seen other technologies try to follow up with Google Glass, which had great capability but very short battery life, not the greatest look, and tried to be everything to everyone, to more focused assistive technology wearables. That's what we're starting to see in the marketplace now. And a great example of this is the OrCam that we have in the Target Center. So without further ado, I will turn things over to Moira Williams from Envision Technology to tell you all about this new wearable assistive technology.
Hi, I'm Moira Williams, and I'm with a company called Envision Technology. We're based here in Washington, D.C., and today I am here to show a brand new, emerging, exciting technology that is considered a wearable technology. It's called the OrCam, and it's designed for people that are visually impaired. OrCam is a wearable device that reads text, recognizes products, does facial recognition, and also recognizes U.S. currency. OrCam consists of a small camera with a speaker that attaches to your eyeglasses. It also is connected to a base unit, which does all the computing, and all you have to do is press the trigger button on the base unit or a pointing gesture to read printed materials. OrCam is a great device for reading naturally and comfortably or on the go. The camera will snap onto your glasses. There's a little mount, and it just snaps right on top. The glasses are put on, and then the base unit has just a couple of buttons. It has a on-off button, and all the buttons are tactile. It has a volume up and volume down button, and it has something called a trigger button. This is a rechargeable device, so the charging is done under this little flap, and it's very similar to a iPhone or any kind of a smartphone as far as the charging capability, and the battery life of the device is very similar. Okay, so I'm actually going to give you a demonstration of the OrCam. OrCam does do several things. It will read text. It will also recognize money, U.S. currency. It will recognize and learn products and objects, and it will also do facial recognition. So I'm going to start and just do a demonstration. I'm going to make sure that we're ready to go. And I'm going to take a brochure and basically just hold the what I want to read about 10 inches away from my face, and then I'm just going to do a pointing gesture.
What is a workplace accommodation? A workplace accommodation has
job or work environment that enables a person with a disability to apply for or perform a job. The term also.
So I just paused the reading. Now I showed one of the ways, there's actually 3 ways to activate the camera. So again, the camera is up on my eyeglasses right by my eye. There's also a little speaker that's speaking directly into my ear. So if I'm in a meeting or anywhere where there's other people around, they're not going to be able to hear. So it's in essence a little bit of a whisper into my ear.
Go ahead.
So there's a couple of ways to activate the camera. One of the easiest ways is to just press the trigger button on the base unit. And when you press the trigger button,
easy to use. All you have to do is point. OrCam responds to simple gestures, making it easy to use.
so on this particular page, I was able to initially capture the whole page with the trigger button. And then when I just wanted to read certain paragraphs, I just pointed at the paragraphs, and then the OrCam was able to zero in on those paragraphs and read them. So in addition to text, you can also do what we call objects or products. I happen to have just a couple examples here. I have something here that I want to find out what it is. It's a card out of my wallet. So I'm going to point.
Metro Smart Trip card.
Okay, so that's my Metro Smart Trip card. I've got a product here now that I'm going to point at.
Tic Tacs.
Okay, so these are my Tic Tacs. So on different types of products and other objects, if it's able to recognize the text, it will recognize it and speak it in the initial text-to-speech voice. But if it's a product and it can't recognize because of the graphic or the style of the print, you can actually program in your voice, and you get up to 150 products. And actually the final feature I want to show is the facial recognition feature. And the way this works is that you are able to have the OrCam learn different faces. And I was able to learn the cameraman here's face a little bit earlier, so I'm going to have him step into my view and take a picture of him.
Todd Bedecker.
And that is in fact Todd Bedecker.
Photo Intrica Eibauer. 1. Owner's mommy eye. Snow to made each day. Loose parts that might cause user to trip or fall. Keep traffic path clear. 5.
So as you can see, in addition to reading text comfortably when you're sitting, you can also walk around, and any signage in your environment that you want to read, you're going to be able to either point at it or use the trigger button. You know, some examples are, I just read what was on this door, but often, you know, many doors that, you know, men's and women's room, if you're walking to one of those, you're going to be able to, in many cases, point at the door and know whether it's the men's or the women's room, as well as if you go to conferences or you're in an office and you're traveling to different locations, being able to read the signage by the door is going to be very, very helpful. So OrCam's a great device for reading naturally and comfortably while you're at your desk or in a meeting or traveling, but it's actually also very, very useful for reading on the go. And it's very helpful to any individual who has a visual impairment, whether they're totally blind or they have low vision or even other visual challenges. The OrCam is, again, very unique in that you actually wear it, and you as the user are part of the user interface. So the more you use it, the better it's going to get, and you're going to get the optimal use out of it.
An actionable reasonable accommodation policy and robust interactive process are gradually increase the number of words you say at a time and a complete.
So you can see it will pick up all kinds of different reading materials, whether it's
Pending.
printed,
Press again to shut down.
it's, your iPhone, your tablet, as well as signage and things like that in the environment.
Thank you, Moira. So as you can see, this technology is not too conspicuous on your head and gives somebody who has low vision or blindness a lot more information than they might have had before. So we think this is very interesting, and we're going to really watch this wearable technology space moving forward. And the big question for us is this something people would actually use, and is it something you could implement in the workplace versus just a personal device? Those are the kind of things we're going to be looking at with wearables going forward, and really see what the impact can be on accessibility. So thank you very much for joining us today for this special short edition of the Target Discovery Series, and we hope to see you again soon. Thank you.